Tragic shootings of teenagers in Gaza, a surgeon's perspective. A British surgeon in Gaza reveals the horrifying reality of young teenagers being shot by Israeli soldiers near aid distribution sites. Nick Maynard, a gastrointestinal surgeon working at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, shares his first-hand experience treating these devastating injuries, predominantly affecting young males as young as 11 to 14 years old. Maynard describes a disturbing pattern of shootings, with victims being targeted in specific body parts on different days, such as the abdomen, head, neck, or even testicles. He recalls a heartbreaking case of a 12-year-old boy who died on the operating table after being shot through the aorta by an Israeli soldier at a food distribution point. The surgeon expresses his disbelief at the appalling injuries he has witnessed, which he would never have imagined if not for seeing them with his own eyes. Despite the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation's denial of these reports, Maynard firmly believes the evidence he has seen and heard from victims, their families, and close colleagues is overwhelming and beyond coincidence. In addition to the shootings, Maynard also highlights the severe malnutrition crisis in Gaza, which has worsened since his previous visits. He explains how malnourished patients have a reduced ability to heal from surgeries, leading to a higher risk of mortality. The lack of nutritional support in hospitals and the denial of formula feed at the border further exacerbate the situation, resulting in the deaths of premature babies and malnourished individuals. Maynard's testimony sheds light on the dire humanitarian crisis in Gaza, sparking controversy and raising questions about the actions of Israeli soldiers and the international response to the situation. British surgeon in Gaza, first-hand account of hospital crisis and targeted attacks. Inside a Gaza hospital, a British surgeon shares his first-hand experiences. In the midst of a humanitarian crisis, Dr. Nick Maynard, a British surgeon from Oxford, has dedicated the last 15 years to traveling to Gaza, where he has been mentoring young medical professionals and training surgeons. One of his former students, a Palestinian woman who later pursued her medical career in the UK, has become like family to him. However, since the outbreak of conflict between Israel and Gaza in October 2023, Dr. Maynard's focus has dramatically changed. During his latest visit, he finds himself performing emergency surgeries amidst ongoing gunfire, treating severely malnourished children, and caring for trauma patients suffering from life-altering injuries. In an interview with NPR from Nasser Hospital, the primary medical facility in Khan Yunis, Dr. Maynard paints a grim picture of a healthcare system on the brink of collapse. The sounds of gunfire resonate just outside as he describes what he perceives as a systematic effort by Israel to dismantle the civilian infrastructure in Gaza. He reports hospitals running low on supplies, infants succumbing to hunger, and children being shot while attempting to access food. Dr. Maynard emphasizes that the gunfire is not random. The victims are predominantly young male teenagers, typically between the ages of 11 and 14, who are being shot at food distribution points. This has been a frequent occurrence during my time here, he explained during the Morning Edition segment. While the Israeli military denies any intention to target civilians, various aid organizations and health officials have reported a troubling increase in these deadly incidents, particularly since May, as starvation worsens across the Gaza Strip. The desperate search for food has increasingly put civilians in direct contact with Israeli troops. In response to NPR's inquiries, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, stated that they categorically reject the claims of intentional harm to individuals and that there are strict orders against targeting minors. They also mentioned that casualties at aid distribution sites are currently under investigation. Dr. Maynard and his colleagues have noted patterns in the injuries they are treating: head wounds one day, abdominal injuries the next, raising serious questions about the intent behind these shootings. This is beyond coincidence, he asserted. The clustering of symptoms is what makes it so alarming. All of us, emergency room doctors, general surgeons, urologists, and neurosurgeons, have recognized this pattern of injuries, he added. The surgeon from the UK reports that most of his patients are suffering from severe malnutrition, which complicates their recovery from injuries that would typically be survivable. He believes that the destruction occurring is not merely collateral damage but rather a calculated strategy. What we are witnessing appears to be a deliberate plan to erase the population of Gaza from this land, he told NPR. NPR sought further comments from the IDF regarding Dr. Maynard's claims of a systematic destruction of Gaza's living infrastructure, which he describes as having the clear aim of ethnic cleansing. The IDF referred the inquiry to the Israeli government, which in turn directed NPR back to the IDF. This conversation has been edited for brevity and clarity. Interview highlights. Sasha Pfeiffer *, can you share your observations about food access in Gaza? Dr. Nick Maynard *, access to food is incredibly challenging. Until a few months ago, there were numerous food distribution points managed by UNRWA and the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. However, these sites are insufficient to meet the needs of the population, leading to chaos and unrest. Pfeiffer * regarding the gunfire we hear near your hospital, is it related to fighting or defense? What is happening? Maynard *, the gunfire is likely the result of conflicts between gangs or families fighting over food. This has been observed multiple times and is not attributed to the Israeli military or Hamas, as we have reliable information indicating that it stems from desperate attempts to secure food. Pfeiffer *, have you noticed a worsening situation during your recent visits? Maynard *, yes, the situation has deteriorated significantly. Each visit has revealed more severe signs of malnutrition compared to my previous trips in December and January. Pfeiffer *, can you describe the conditions in your hospital and the types of injuries you are treating? Maynard *, the use of fragmentation bombs by the Israelis is common, releasing thousands of small metal fragments that inflict severe damage. I primarily operate on abdominal and thoracic injuries, with shrapnel causing catastrophic internal harm. We observe a disturbing pattern where specific body parts are targeted on certain days. One day we see abdominal wounds, another day head wounds, and so on. Pfeiffer *, that's a shocking assertion. Do you really believe it's not just coincidence? Maynard * witnessing multiple young teenagers arriving within an hour with gunshot wounds to their testicles, which we have never encountered before, is beyond mere coincidence. The clustering of injuries is striking and has been recognized by all medical professionals in our hospital. Pfeiffer * you've referred to the situation as collective punishment for the people of Gaza. What do you believe is the ultimate goal? Maynard * I believe we are witnessing a calculated effort to eliminate the Gaza population. This is not solely about targeting Hamas, it involves the deliberate killing of countless innocent civilians through the withholding of essential aid, medicines, and food. The entire infrastructure of life here is being dismantled. Hospitals are not just bombed, they are systematically stripped of their capabilities. Agricultural systems, fishing industries, and water sanitation facilities are all being targeted. It is clear to me that this is a deliberate act of destruction aimed at ethnic cleansing and the expulsion of the entire population from this land. Pfeiffer * this work must be incredibly challenging. What motivates you to keep returning? Maynard * I have been coming to Gaza since 2010. I have developed deep connections and friendships here, and I consider many people my family. The injustices being inflicted upon them are profoundly wrong, and I feel a strong sense of shame that my government, as well as yours, is complicit in this situation. I have the skills to help, and I feel an overwhelming obligation to provide assistance as much as I can. IDF accused of deliberately targeting Gaza children, British doctor speaks out. Imagine a world where a surgeon's words could shake the very foundations of trust in humanity. In Gaza, a British doctor has made a chilling statement that has sent shockwaves through the international community. According to Professor Nick Maynard, a surgeon working in Gaza, IDF soldiers are allegedly playing a gruesome game, deliberately shooting children in different parts of their bodies depending on the day of the week. This isn't just an isolated claim, it's backed by a disturbing pattern. Professor Maynard, speaking on BBC Radio 4, detailed how he and his colleagues have witnessed an alarming number of gunshot victims, primarily teenage boys, at aid distribution sites. These victims show similar injuries that suggest a deliberate and sickening pattern. On one day, they'll all have abdominal gunshot wounds, on another, head or neck gunshot wounds, and then arm or leg gunshot wounds the next day, he said, his voice heavy with disbelief. It's almost like a game they're playing, deciding to shoot the head today, the neck tomorrow, and the testicles the day after. These allegations have been met with immediate and categorical denials from the IDF, who have released a statement to the BBC rejecting Professor Maynard's claims outright. But here's where it gets controversial. If true, these actions would not only be a gross violation of human rights but also a profound betrayal of the medical profession's sacred trust. And this is the part most people miss. What does it say about us, as a global community, if we allow such atrocities to continue? How can we ensure that these claims are investigated thoroughly and impartially? What's your take on this? Do you believe the IDF statement, or do you think there's merit to Professor Maynard's claims? Let's discuss in the comments.